I'm on a day trip to one of Europe's best kept secrets, Andorra, to check out its flag and questionable design. I would use the word unique, but as we'll discover, Andorra's flag is far from original. Anyway, grab your magnifying glass and historian hat as we identify details of this principality in flags in 50 places. Andorra is a tiny country nestled on the border between France and Spain and is 468 square kilometres, which is roughly the size of the US city of Hibbing. You know, the one in St. Louis County, Minnesota. No, nor have I. And its flag is this blue, yellow, red number full of hidden symbols you've probably not noticed. However, this flag, while it may look like others, has a very unique setup in its vertical bands, as they are not quite equal. The yellow is ever so slightly wider than the red and blue neighbour. In fact, they have a ratio of 8:9:8. And talking of ratios, just to be different, this flag isn't your 2:3 or 1:2 standard. This is 7:10, of course, to be really different from, say, Romania here. And the other thing that obviously makes it stand out from Romania is this coat of arms slap bang in the middle. This bad boy is a soap opera in heraldic form. First, we have a quartered shield. In the top left, a bishop's martyr and crozier, or his hat and crook for you and me, because back in the day, bishops weren't just spiritually rich, they were landlord rich. The Bishop of Urgell was one of the co-princes of Andorra. Imagine your landlord also being the head priest. You complain about the rent and he just says, pray harder. Top right, the 3 red stripes are for the Count Foy, who had this shield design. The bishop and count owned adjoining land and came to an agreement in 1278 that this area could become its own territory, but both would have jurisdiction, almost seamless. Bottom left, we have the flag of Catalonia, the region in Spain that more or less raised Andorra like a babysitting big brother. And finally, bottom right, a pair of cows, because nothing screams French culture more than bovine from Béarn and dairy farming. Beneath all this is the Latin phrase Virtus Unita Fortia, which translates to united virtue is stronger, which is basically Andorra saying, yes, we're small, but we've got our acts together. Unlike some countries we won't mention, this is all capped off in this rather frilly shield. Let's take a look at the Andorra's flag journey. Back in the day, like way back to the 700s, they didn't even have a flag. What they did have was a lot of mountains, some sheep, and 2 landlords arguing over who collected the taxes. Eventually, Andorra decided, you know what, let's get a flag, because people take you more seriously when you're waving fabric dramatically. After pondering for 1,000 years about their design, in 1806 they finally came up with this, their first flag inspiration. These colours were synonymous to Toulouse to the north in France and the Crown of Aragon in south in Spain. Everyone was happy. Happy until that was 1866, when Napoleon III decided that the flag of Andorra was very one-sided in its colour scheme and favoured Spanish flags more than the French, but he insisted that they add a blue stripe, which would make the flag look very similar to his national flag. At some point, probably in a vain attempt to try and make their flag look slightly different, someone tipped the flag over and this horizontal version was used for a while. And by the 1930s, a mimeographer had stenciled a crown in the middle for good measure. Then between 1939 and 1993, you get these variations, which brings us back to where we started. And as an added bonus, Andorra is split into 7 parishes, each having their own flag, but all adopting their national flag colours, which just leaves the central emblem to differentiate themselves. That said, it appears that Andorra la Vella didn't quite get the memo. As I said at the beginning, as some of you may have noticed, the colour scheme of Andorra's flag is very similar to other national flags. One of those is Moldova, which also houses a fun coat of arms in the middle of its blue, yellow, red flag. And to understand why their flags look the same, you'll need this video, which also includes its current Soviet link. Bon voyage!